Welcome to Assembly Update. I'm Ted Flint. Joining us today, Assemblyman Brian Miller, who serves the 122nd Assembly District, the counties Herkimer, Madison, Oneida, and Otsego. I did that without looking. How you doing, Brian?
Doing pretty good. I'm glad you didn't forget Oneida.
Oh no,
That would have been a crazy one there.
yeah, oh no, we wouldn't forget any of them. Uh,
Yeah.
Great looking day. It's been the weather's been great lately, and that's a good thing. We had a wet, rainy June, but July looks pretty good, and I know things are looking good out your way. It's fair season, right?
Oh yeah, it's fair season. This week we opened up the Madison County Fair opened this week. Oneida County Boonville Fair is opening this week. So we'll be there periodically through the week, see how things are going, talking to the CCE people, the FFA people, looking at the animals and enjoying our great our great fairs, great county fairs that we have, and we're very fortunate that we can celebrate the fair season like you said with great dry weather. It's going to be a little hot towards the end of the week. We're going to have to take some heat precautions, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a good time.
Well, tourism is a big business in New York State. New York, especially where you live, is a beautiful state. That part of the state, especially, tourism dollars coming in, flowing in all the time. I think has tourism been as profitable as it's been over the years, or has it taken a hit as New York continues to lose population?
Well, it's taken a little bit of a hit. But I don't know if it's so much the population loss that we've experienced here, but coming on the heels of COVID and
Yeah,
starting to get things back to normal, we're really seeing a big uptick in tourism. Last week we had groups of cyclists along the Erie Canal. They stopped in Rome, New York, and they stopped in Utica right here,
yeah,
not far from my district along the canal. And this week we have the Canal Canastota Canal Fest there. So because the canal celebrating its bicentennial, but tourism is really picked up. As long as the weather holds out, and
yeah,
it's going to be dry. We're in the dog days of summer now,
yeah.
and hopefully things will spark some economy. Farmers markets are going full bore, and New York's it's really a wonderful place to vacation and
Yeah.
see.
It's a great place to live, and we'd like to keep it that way, right? If the state leaders could maybe change some of the tax policies. I just want to follow up on the bike event there. It wound up in Albany. I guess from Schenectady to Albany was the final 28 miles, and there were cyclists from ages from 8 to 84 taking part
Oh
in that
yeah,
event. It
there
was
was
huge.
people. Yeah, it was huge, and it was really a very unique event because the people who participated, all their camping equipment and tents were put into trucks and brought from stop to stop, and it really highlights the areas that they stop because a lot of the local restaurants and stores and everything are very close to the Erie Canal Trail. So it
Yeah.
really worked out well. And like you said, from 4 to 84, everybody
Wow.
can enjoy a bike.
Let's talk about affordability, and all this kind of ties into New York. Being a lot of New Yorkers are unable to make ends meet. NYSEG and the National Grid are talking about rate increases this fall. When you have the costs of food and housing and every other necessity on the rise, I think a 20% hit for a lot of families would be unsustainable.
Well, 20%, any kind of hit right now is going to be
Yeah,
unsustainable. We have, when the power costs go up, it's going to affect everybody from the homeowner to the business owner to the farmer. It's going to increase the cost on everything. We'll probably see inflation take off again here in New York State. But a lot of we've talked in the past on the CLCPA in our climate initiatives here in New York that weren't very well thought out, and the power requirements and the upgrades that the power companies have to make. And
yeah.
they're not going to the costs aren't going to be borne by them and kept by them. They're going to be passed on to the consumer,
Hmm.
and this just can't be done. And this climate policy really has to be looked at again, and these dates have to be put out.
Along those lines, the prohibition on new houses having gas stoves hookups for new houses being built in New York. I mean, that's part of the CLCPA, right?
Oh, absolutely. We just had to put a new stove in our house, and we, of course, we cook with gas and made sure that we got it. But
Right.
not allowing the public to make decisions on energy efficient appliances that meet all the energy standards. Just to make things go from gas to fully electric doesn't make them any more energy efficient. And as we've talked before, New York State really needs a diverse energy portfolio. And I'm glad the governor now is talking about, looking at nuclear again. I know one of our assembly members, Scott Gray, had a symposium up in Alex Bay 2 weeks ago on small scale nuclear facilities. Unfortunately we weren't able to attend, but this technology is out there, and I'm glad the governor is pivoting to diversify our energy portfolio here in New York State, and not solely relying on renewables. We're having all kinds of headaches with the solar arrays. They're not farms. Right here in Fenner, we have in my district, there's going to be a huge, I believe it's about probably over 100-acre solar array going in, and it's just going to be it's causing havoc all over the place, and it's taking local control away from our from our communities.
That's it. That's the operative word, control. That's the big issue here. The state taking over a lot of the responsibilities and taking the freedom of choice away from localities. It's okay if it works, but as far as solar and other types of alternative energies, I mean, there really is not a market for them yet. Or
Well,
else it'd be
there's not a market for them yet. And the efficient, their efficiency, we're looking at a 10% power producing efficiency on a product, and it just can't be here. And if the market was driving this and these weren't subsidized, I don't
right.
believe that we would see these. And and there has been a huge increase in getting these projects moving along, because of the federal government regulations have now changed with a new administration. So it's driving everything. It's taking all the local control away from our localities. We are a home rule state.
Right.
Coming from local government, where I started as town supervisor in a small town, let the local people make their decisions.
Right. You're right. I mean, a lot of this stuff is not market driven, and it's frankly these policies are driving out New Yorkers from the Empire State. We lost 217,000 last year. Over the last 2 years, I was reading a report. We've lost 500,000 people, and the economy suffers. Ultimately, the tax base shrinks, and most counties are losing people. Some upstate counties have actually gained people, but most of the losses are coming from New York City.
Absolutely. And if we continue to lose our population base here in New York, I don't know how we're going to be able to survive. And it affects us on anywheres from how many congressional representatives we have and our voice in Washington, to our taxpayers in our employment. Right now we've been very fortunate here in the Mohawk Valley with Chobani going to put a new plant up in Rome, New York, right here close to our district. Looking for 1,000 employees, and I don't know where we're going to find them. So as the population moves out, we're going to cause more and more and more headaches, across the board.
And a lot of the people who produce the wealth are moving out. That's
Absolutely.
the job creators for sure. Hey, if you want to get in touch with Assemblyman Brian Miller, you can do that at his district office. That number right in front of you in New Hartford, 315-736-3879. Assemblyman Brian Miller. Always a pleasure. We're going to talk to you in a couple of weeks. Enjoy the fairs.
Enjoy the fairs.
All righty. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us out there on this edition of Assembly Update. I'm Ted Flint.